So the other day I was scrolling through YouTube and something came up in the shorts feed. And I saw this about 3 days ago. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm still irritated and aggravated by it because it is unfortunately some of the most god awful, terrible, contradictory advice I've ever heard a woman give us men on how to treat women. And what's interesting is now this clip I'm going to show you, it's a short, so it's not long. It's from Sarah Dawn Moore. Some of you might know her. Um, I would say 80 to almost maybe 90% of the content I see from her, I actually like. She's pretty good. But every once in a while, she gets one. And what's interesting is that I kind of thought that my first video featuring her would be a positive one, but that ain't the way it worked out. I did Emily King last week. It was a positive one, and I kind of was looking for Sarah's content, and I found this, and it's just the number of ways in which this is just not how it works in reality is insurmountable to count, but I will try to give you an analogy that sums it all up. So let's play the clip and then we'll go through it. Each five, it's the 5 ways that a woman wants to be loved or something like that.
5 ways that women want to be loved. She wants to feel adored and cherished, which sounds like you're beautiful, you're timeless, you're elegant, you're everything to me.
All right, now number one was kind of simple: loved, cherished, adored. I think most men understand that basic concept of how a woman wants to be treated that way. Now, you do have to be mindful that if you make her feel too adored and too cherished, you're going to give them the ick, so to speak, right? So it's already, even though she's not wrong here, she's not wrong. There is a fine balance between love bombing them and backing up when it needs to be, when you need to back up. Generally speaking, the love, cherish, adored thing, unfortunately, guys, if you're good looking, she's going to take that as a positive sign. If you're mid or below, she's probably going to say, "Oh, he's kind of creepy." I don't know that there's a solution to that other than if you're mid or below in looks department, get rich, and then maybe you won't be so creepy.
Number 2 is that she needs you to be the leader. She will never truly feel safe if you are emotionally dysregulated all the time.
All right, so number 2 is kind of simple: be a leader. A woman wants a man who's going to be a leader. Well, that usually falls under the category of what a woman says she wants, and then it's not really so much. They certainly do not, most of the time, want the man to be the leader in the way that a man defines the word leader. Now, in terms of the emotional regulation, I don't think that that's a real, nobody's going to argue that. I assume that the reason why she brought that up in combination with the leader is she's trying to give the impression of, don't be a hard ass. They'll be yelling and screaming commands. Don't, lose it when a woman doesn't do exactly as you ask. I'm going to assume that is what she is trying to portray there. It must be a personal experience of her, and that's fine. But women want you to be a leader. Now, it's important that to understand that's number 2 when you hear the rest of what she has to say.
Number 3 is that she needs to feel equal in the partnership and not your mother.
Okay, number 3, again, it's really starting to sound like she's had a bad day. Women want to feel equal in the partnership and not your mother. Again, just like number 1, it's like nobody is arguing the man needs to be the leader, but what was the emotional dysregulation part about? In this one, it's kind of the same thing, right? There's one part, and then the second part doesn't really make a whole lot of sense in terms of what the first thing she's talking about. Now, again, this is where we get the definitions again, because she wants the man to be the leader. And then number 3 is they want it to be an equal partnership. Well, in a partnership that's equal, there's no leader, at least not in a man's world. So we're already we're on shaky ground here already. So wants to be an equal partner. It doesn't want to be your mother. Unfortunately for women, when they get happy and they get relaxed and they get settled into a relationship, they will find themselves doing things to care for the man, much in the same way his mother would have done, making his meals, you do his laundry, etc. So we're 3 suggestions in. So far, we have be a leader, but the partnership is equal, but I'm not going to do the things for you that your mother did. So let's move on to number 4.
Number 4 is that she's down a lot of times to have sex, but she has to feel emotionally connected to you first.
Number 4, she's down to have sex, but she has to feel emotionally connected to you first. Now, if there's one thing that any man on the face of this planet can tell you, is that it is literal Russian roulette if you're trying to figure out exactly what to do or what to say to make a woman feel emotionally connected to you, especially as you get older and women have trauma and they've had other experiences. You may do something that you think it's funny, it's quirky, it's cute. It may be something that you kind of thought maybe she'd be interested in, but it's something that somebody else did. And now instead of emotionally connecting to you, she's triggered. These are the kind of things that it's not easy to get to. Now, in terms of the sex part, she's down to have sex, but she needs to feel emotionally connected to you. I think most guys recognize that. The problem is that if you asked 1,000 women what it takes to get them emotionally connected, you would get 1,000 different answers. And then if you ask them all the same question an hour later, all 1,000 answers might be the same, but they'd be scrambled, with the first girl saying what the original third girl said and the fifth girl saying what the original ninth girl said. And you catch my drift. It's never the same thing twice.
And number 5 is your lack of controlling nature. A lot of women need to feel free within their relationship. So be proud of her for her independence. Do not shame her for it.
And there we go. There's number 5. Now, the tone in her voice, really, I would be willing to bet a couple of dollars that she had a bad relationship day and then made this video, because it doesn't sound like she's talking to the rest of us. It sounds like she's talking to her husband or her boyfriend or whoever it might be. So to summarize, be a leader, but it's an equal partnership, but she needs to be independent and free. In 1 minute, she has contradicted herself. She has basically put there for all to see exactly why men look at women and go, "What? That doesn't make any sense." Now, I'm going to give you a made up story. It's something close and similar to what has happened in my own life, but I'm going to change some of the details. But this is the basic gist of it, and it kind of almost covers all 5 of these things, and it gives you an idea of what the real world example of something like this might be. So you're in a committed, you're married, whatever it is, committed relationship. The girl comes to you. She says, "Hey, can you look at my bills? And here's the car that I want to get. My car is breaking down. Here's the car that I want to get. I can only afford $250 a month." Or she can only afford $350, whatever it is. Okay, I'm just going to make up the numbers. "I can only afford $250. My credit score is only 680. I need to get my credit score to 750. Then the bank says I'll get this interest rate and I can afford the car." Okay, right. So she gives you her bill. She says, "Please tell me what I need to do. Lead me. Tell me what I need to do so that in a year's time, I'll have the 750 credit score and I can get the car I want." As the good man you are, you put your glasses on or not, and you sit down and you take a good, long, hard look at it as though it was your own situation, and you list out your suggestions. Now, in those 5 suggestions, we'll just make some things up, but there's going to be things like making bigger payments on your credit cards, stop getting a massage every week, maybe make it every month, stop going out to lunch with your girlfriends 3 times a week, only make it 1 time a week, things like that. Now, what inevitably is going to happen is, out of the 5 suggestions, this is exactly what's going to happen. You're the leader, so she's going to pick 2 of them to directly follow. But it's an equal partnership. So one of them, she's going to split 50-50 and kind of do your way and kind of do her way. The other 2, because she's independent, she's going to do however she damn well pleases to do. Then it's going to go, year by goes by, and she's going to go try to buy that car. But credit score is 720, not 750. She can't afford a car. Now, what's going to happen? Well, you told me to do this and this, and I did that, and my score is still only 720. And then you're going to bring up, well, I told you to stop going to lunch with the girlfriends 3 times a week and to cut it to one. And she's going to say, you never liked my girlfriends anyway. You're just trying to control me. And that's why I kept going to lunch. Inevitably, invariably, infallibly, what's going to end up happening is following 2 things. Even though you gave her 5 suggestions and she only took 2.5, it's going to be your fault that her credit score is not 750. So then what she's going to do is she's going to insist, because you're the leader, that you take on the rest of the car payment. And because you want her to feel adored and loved and cherished, you do. So now you've got an extra $250 a month added to your bills. And maybe, if you're lucky, if you're genuinely lucky, for one night, she will feel that emotionally connected to you, and you get lucky in the bedroom as a result of your investment. And that is how that list works in real life.